Hello everyone, and welcome back to another gardening video. Today, we're going to try out a fascinating rose propagation method using common, everyday materials to create the perfect environment for a rose cutting to develop new roots. However, the most important thing I want to share right from the start is that the results depend heavily on the quality of the cutting, as well as temperature, humidity, airflow, and how we care for it. First, select a rose stem from your favorite plant. Make sure it is completely healthy and shows no signs of pests or disease. I usually prefer stems that are moderately mature. The wood should be firm, but not overly old or woody. Once you've selected the stem, remove all the leaves and sharp thorns. These parts aren't necessary during the initial stage of propagation. Removing the leaves also helps minimize water loss through transpiration, especially important since the cutting doesn't yet have roots to absorb moisture from the growing medium. Next, trim the stem to a length of about 20 centimeters. This length ensures there are a few healthy buds while allowing the base to be planted securely in the rooting medium. At the base of the cutting, I will shave off a very thin layer of bark. The goal is to create a surface that allows for better contact with the solution and growing medium later on. Now let's move on to the first ingredient, aloe vera. I have an aloe vera leaf here. I'll wash the outside to remove any dirt, then cut off a small section. We will use this piece directly as a contact layer for the base of the cutting. I insert the base of the rose, cutting deep into the aloe vera flesh, and let it sit for about 30 minutes. While we wait for those 30 minutes, let's prepare the aloe vera solution. I cut another piece of aloe vera, about 10 centimeters long, and remove the green outer skin entirely. We only need the clear inner flesh. If the freshly cut leaf exudes a lot of yellow sap, you can rinse the gel to reduce the sap content before using it. Next, chop the clear aloe vera flesh into small pieces and place them in a clean plastic cup. Aloe vera has succulent flesh rich in water, organic compounds, and polysaccharides. In plant care, it is often utilized as a source of organic matter and a natural moisturizer. Its gel-like texture also provides a slippery surface, helping the cutting maintain contact with a moist environment. Now for the ripe tomato. I have about 40 grams of ripe tomato. I'll wash it and chop it into small pieces. Add all the tomatoes and the aloe vera into the container. Tomatoes are rich in water and contain various organic compounds, as well as vitamins and minerals. When soaked in water, some of these soluble substances leach into the liquid. In today's recipe, tomatoes serve as a source of natural organic matter for the solution. It is best used immediately after preparation to prevent fermentation or the development of an unpleasant, sour odor. Now, I am adding 5 spoonfuls of rice to the aloe vera and tomato mixture. Rice contains starch and small amounts of other nutrients. When soaked and stirred in water, some of the starch and soluble substances on the surface of the grains are released into the water. Consequently, in this method, the rice water acts primarily as a source of mild organic nutrients rather than a specialized rooting stimulant. I add 500 milliliters of warm water to the container. Excessively hot water could alter the compounds present in the ingredients, and high heat is unnecessary for preparing this solution. Stir the mixture well and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Now, let's prepare the tools for the cutting propagation. I take a small, clean glass jar and a piece of foam. I cut the foam to fit snugly into the jar's opening. The foam serves to hold the rose cutting upright and keeps the base positioned correctly within the solution. Keeping the cutting stable, preventing it from tilting or shifting, makes it easier to monitor the process. After 30 minutes have passed, we return to the aloe, tomato, and rice mixture. I use a clean strainer to remove all the solid residue, keeping only the liquid. This is a step I strongly recommend not skipping. Organic residues like tomato, aloe, or rice grains decompose quickly in a sealed, moist environment. This can cause the solution to spoil and encourage the growth of unwanted microorganisms. We only use the clear, filtered liquid. Next, dilute the solution with clean water to achieve a final volume of 1 liter. Dilution is crucial. Don't assume that a more concentrated solution is better. Our goal is to create an environment that is mild, clean, and has the right level of moisture. Now, I fill the glass jar with the diluted solution. Next, remove the rose cutting from the piece of aloe vera. Handle it gently, avoiding any twisting or pulling on the base. Insert the cutting through the center of the foam piece. Then, place the foam over the jar's opening so that the base of the cutting is submerged deep within the solution. Take a close look. The stem should stand relatively upright, with only its base in contact with the solution. Next, I use a plastic bag or a clear plastic cup to completely cover the glass jar and the rose stem. The purpose of this covering is to maintain humidity around the stem and minimize rapid water loss during the initial days. Once that's done, place the stem in a cool, airy spot away from strong winds and harsh sunlight. I generally prefer a spot with soft, ambient light and good airflow, but no direct sun exposure. Now, it is time to be patient. During the first few days, avoid constantly removing the stem to check on it. Pulling the stem up or moving its base can damage newly forming tissues. Instead, simply observe from the outside. If the stem retains its natural color, shows no signs of mushiness or unusual odors, and the dormant buds begin to swell, these are promising signs. After about 10 days, you can gently check the results. Fresh green shoots may begin to appear on the rose cutting. Seeing small buds emerging from the nodes indicates that the cutting is still viable. However, as I have mentioned in previous videos, the appearance of new shoots does not necessarily mean the root system is fully established. The cutting can utilize nutrients stored within the stem to sprout before a truly strong root system has developed. The initial roots are often very delicate and fragile, so be careful not to touch them. Observe with the naked eye or use your phone to take close-up shots and track daily changes. Only when the roots have grown sufficiently strong should we proceed to transplant it into a pot. I am preparing a pot with excellent drainage, a crucial factor for roses. After successful propagation, the young roots require an environment that retains moisture while allowing for adequate air circulation. Following today's method, we can use river sand as the potting medium. The sand must be clean and well draining. When removing the cutting from the jar, handle it slowly to avoid breaking the roots. During the initial days, keep the plant in a well-ventilated area with soft, indirect light. Finally, I wish you strong rose cuttings that quickly develop their first white roots and sprout lush green shoots. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next video. Let's keep gardening together.